Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another year of QWAN with me, your esteemed host, Martin Foster. First of all, I hope you all had a wonderful and relaxing break over the new year and over the extended festive period. I did have a video that was supposed to come out before Christmas on being alone and loneliness, but I wasn't entirely happy with it. So I didn't post it. But if you would still like that, please let me know, and I will do up another version of it. But moving on, today is going to be a overview for 2022, as well as a quick summary of my first post of the year, which came out last Friday, which I talk about my theme for the year. So moving on with the L plan, as it were. The plan is to continue, obviously, with the Friday posts, followed by the video the following Wednesday. I do have some loose plans to introduce, possibly on the Monday, sort of shorter, like image quote templates, which sort of to share like a little quick sort of insight or nugget of wisdom, if I ever have any. And they're sort of easier to, share around social media on like Facebook, Instagram, etc. Also, sometimes not everyone has, the time to read a full-fledged article. So sometimes you just need to read just a little, 1-2 sentence snippet, and that can be enough. So I'm sort of putting together some ideas to do them. I also have some other segment ideas to run. One's called left foot, right foot, which is will be more sort of big picture, social, political kind of, how we move forward type ideas, especially with the sort of, bigger problems we face and we're going to face going forward. So it's just sort of how we all sort of move together as a unified force, if you will, cohesively. Another segment idea I had was to do a bit of a comedic mother and son thing, where sort of my mum and I sort of ask each other the same questions for a bit of sort of, comic relief, which could go incredibly well and take this channel to new heights, or, get me community strikes. No, but yeah, we'll see about that one. The last idea I sort of had, out of the three that I'm going to bring up, was like a whiskey Wednesday or a whiskey weekend, where I sort of sit and, drink various whiskeys, obviously. But it's meant to be a bit more of a light-hearted sort of look at the sort of social and cultural landscape, or if there was something sort of particularly funny or odd throughout the week that I'd sort of do a bit of commentary on. But yeah, obviously I don't want to be doing too many things because then it will start spreading myself too thin. But yeah, so I had a few other questions I wouldn't mind asking just quickly before I move on to my first post for the year. The main question being is that, did you want these videos to be either the same or different from what I write? And obviously they all started off as just being a sort of a video audio version of what I write. But obviously I was sort of hoping to grow them in different directions as well. But I'm happy to do a video version of basically what I write every Friday. That works for me. But also, if you'd like sort of other I can do completely different topics and discussions, which is also part of the reason for my segment ideas. I know a lot of the subject matter I talk about is fairly, I guess, serious, for the want of a better word. But I was wondering if you would like these videos to be a bit more sort of humorous and entertaining, and if I sort of slide in some jokes and references and funny bits here and there. Sometimes when I'm recording these, I gotta sometimes stop myself from either doing some impersonation or dropping a funny reference. I have concerns from it detracting it from the material that I'm talking about and the quality of it and sort of the overall goals of this channel. But if you'd like that, let me know. Also, is YouTube the best place for you to watch these? I can I guess post the videos on sort of like Instagram and Facebook, but I find that obviously YouTube is generally the best place for videos, and people are more likely to stay on YouTube and keep watching videos, whereas maybe shorter ones are better elsewhere, but these sort of longer style ones are certainly, I find, have a better home on YouTube, and YouTube generally tends to do a better job at promoting them, although organic reach is hard across the board. But there's a sort of quick overview, and now I'll move on to doing a quick summary of my theme for 2022. Now, obviously, last year I had faith as my word or theme for the year. Obviously, very trying time, and it continues to be a very trying time. So I was hoping to stimulate, people to have a bit more optimism and positivity towards their fellow human beings and humanity in general. This year, I have gone with peace. Now, obviously, regular viewers and readers of my work will realize that I've done a post on inner peace towards the end of last year, and I find it very important to sort of cultivate that. Now, obviously, tranquility is not the first thing you'd probably think of when it comes to 2022, and I'm not blind to what's going on in the world. Excuse me. But I still feel that we can strive for calmness in the storm, not as the saying was normally, the calm before the storm. But I still believe that our ability to overcome adversity enables us to be calm during it. So I'm going to attempt to strive for a more peaceful existence in 2022, and I would like you to join me in that challenge, if you will. Now, obviously I've explained a little bit why peace, but it's kind of odd considering, for the most part, I generally tend to be a bit more of a conflicted person. I guess, I have a lot of things on my mind, and I generally, my mind likes going 20 to the dozen, and sort of trying to work things out, and it generally is quite restless. So even though I'm quite more of the fan of being in a state of peace, so I've obviously, I've struggled a bit all my life to try and create and maintain some form of peace. And if I want to sort of spread peace to the world, God, I sound like a Miss Universe contest winner. No, you got to first be at peace with yourself. So I feel that one of the steps you can do is sometimes peace is it's as much about doing as not doing. I'm sure those familiar with Eastern philosophy understand that concept. And I think the main point is that, especially peace in our relationships with others, and I wish if people aimed more towards peace in these relationships and less towards defeating one another, I think we would live in a much better world. Too many times I've seen relationships fall apart, or at least be more sufferable, because one of the partners or both of the partners are always trying to defeat the other in arguments. Now, obviously, you're going to have disagreements in relationships, and generally anything of serious value is going to generate contention. But what I feel is that if you aim towards peace instead of always trying to win against them, you will have a better relationship. I mean, this doesn't mean that you need to just let them always win or act like a doormat or constantly try and smooth things over, because your relationship will end in a similar manner. But you need to realize how you're both flawed beings, and you've both probably done something stupid or something to irritate the other. So it's not this kind of romantic, we lived happily ever after. But, if you could sort of reduce the unnecessary suffering in your relationship, and aim for a more peaceful existence, and realize it's like, oh, well, is this really worth arguing over for? Is this really worth me being right about? Is there possibly another way? And it brings me on to this other really important point, is it's sort of realizing the extent of what we don't know and how we could be wrong is an important step towards achieving peace. Now, I understand peace requires a lot of effort, which is why a lot of people don't tend to do it. It's easier to have conflict or to be angry, be frustrated, be resentful. It's quite difficult to sort of be, indifferent to what makes no difference. But I feel it is worth the effort, obviously, humanity has put a lot more effort into the art of war than the art of peace, make of that what you will. But, I just hope that maybe in 2022 we can, adjust the sails a bit more towards peace and sort of steer away from its opposites. And on, I was going to say, and on that bombshell, but I've clearly watched too much Top Gear. But yeah, I'll end it there. And as always, thanks for watching. And the aim is to obviously, I'll be out next Wednesday again with another video. I'll try and be a bit more consistent with the release of these videos. Obviously I understand, the December-January period is a bit sort of hit and miss for a lot of people, but I should be able to get back on track with a few more regular videos for you all. So here's to a peaceful 2022.